When babies are born, they are typically welcomed with joy and celebration. However, in this story, the arrival of this baby was met with fear and distress. Something unusual was located at the back of her head, leaving the doctors in a state of profound shock. When Mark and Kaylin found out they were going to have a baby, they thought about all the happy and not so happy things that could happen. But what actually happened was something they never expected. In the first few weeks of the pregnancy, everything was filled with love, laughter, and joy. However, there was something in Kaylin's belly that would take away their happiness. During the 18th week of the pregnancy, Mark and Kaylin went to the hospital for a gender reveal. The technician did a scan and told them they were having a girl. But before they could celebrate, he asked them to see a doctor right away. This made the couple very scared. When they got to the doctor's office, he quickly told them that something was wrong with their baby. They imagined many possible problems, but none were as serious as what they were about to hear. The doctor said their baby had encephalocele, a condition where the skull doesn't close completely during development. Because of this, 20% of the baby's brain was growing outside her skull in a fluid-filled sac. The couple didn't fully understand how serious it was until the doctors explained it. The doctor told them that most babies with this condition don't survive past the first trimester. At that moment, Kaylin couldn't hold back her tears. "I was so angry. I was just angry with God," Kaylin said. She couldn't understand why this was happening to her and didn't know if she could handle this difficult situation. But while she was at her lowest ebb, and it seemed like she was sinking deeper with every passing minute, Mark remained optimistic. After they left the hospital, Mark researched the disease his daughter had been diagnosed with, but the results were disappointing. Yet he remained in high spirits and continued searching. His curiosity soon led him to a support group on Facebook. There, he learned that a high number of children had survived the same condition. However, they were cognitively delayed. Most of them couldn't walk, yet they were alive. For Mark and his wife, the fact that those kids were alive was everything they needed to hear. Soon enough, the doctors advised them to terminate the pregnancy, but this couple was determined to see it through to the end. How could they give up on their child when there were chances she could survive? "We just wanted to do our best and leave the rest to God," Mark explained. With this decision, Kaylin joined forces with her husband and both fought tooth and nail. They kept hope alive, even though they didn't know where it was leading them. In fact, they even held an elaborate baby shower. They also painted a room for the girl and could only hope she would sleep in it someday. As the delivery day drew near, Kaylin's doctor suggested a C-section. Although she had intended to deliver the baby naturally, they deemed a C-section the best option, so Kaylin and Mark prepared for one. But as they approached the 40th week, fears and doubts crept in, and it was a lot harder on Kaylin. She was worried about the baby's health. She didn't know the situation would be more complicated than the scan had revealed. But what hurt even more was that she knew they would separate her from her baby immediately after birth. That thought hurt more than any physical pain she had ever felt. During the 38th week, Kaylin went into labor and was rushed in for an emergency C-section. There, she delivered her girl, Lincoln, who was transported to the NICU immediately as she was in critical condition. After a few hours, Kaylin and Mark were allowed to see Lincoln in the NICU. What they saw reduced them to tears. They had never seen a child look so beautiful and peaceful, and it hurt them so much that her survival hung in the balance. Later, a neurosurgeon suggested that Lincoln undergo an MRI to better comprehend the severity of her condition. After the scan, the doctors confirmed that there was no other way out than to have surgery. Little did the couple know what this truly entailed until the doctors explained. You see, although surgery was the only thing that could save her, it could also take her life right on the spot. She could die from a lot of blood loss, the doctor explained. As he sat describing everything to us, I sobbed uncontrollably. I couldn't comprehend what he was saying. The only thing I could hear was the news that my child was about to die, Kaylin said, feeling hopeless. The doctor suggested they take their daughter home, place her in hospice care, and spend as much time as they could with her since she had little time left. Now that the doctors had lost hope, Kaylin and Mark's faith also wobbled. Was there any need to continue believing she would make it, or was there? Taking the doctor's advice, the bitter couple took little Lincoln home and placed her in hospice care. The next day, medical staff put everything in place, and they visited the house daily to attend to her, but all their help did no good. The only way out was to have surgery. This period was the most challenging phase of their lives. Each day, they watched their daughter suffer silently. Everyone prayed, friends, family, grandparents, wishing for a miracle, but things didn't go that way. By the time Lincoln turned 4 weeks old, the protrusion at the back of her head had enlarged. By then, friends and family advised the couple to seek advice elsewhere. It was during this dreadful period that Kaylin received a text on Facebook. She thought it was just someone who wanted to leave some kind words, but what the woman sent next struck a chord. It was exactly what Lincoln desperately needed. Kaylin opened a Facebook page to update people about her daughter's condition. The woman who messaged her also followed the page, but there was more to her story. She understood Kaylin's pain because her daughter once had encephalocele, so she reached out to her and was kind enough to provide the phone contact of the doctor at Boston Children's Hospital who had helped her daughter too. With this new link, everyone believed there was a light waiting for them at the end of the tunnel. After reviewing Lincoln's scan and medical history, the doctors at Boston Children's Hospital were optimistic that the surgery would be successful. When Lincoln turned 7 weeks, she was set for her surgery. While the operation was ongoing, her parents waited outside. The whole time, this sad couple was on pins and needles. Although the doctors had assured them the surgery would be a success, they lost their faith. Although the surgery was scheduled to last 3 hours, Kaylin and Mark felt like they had been waiting for over 3 decades. It was that frightening. After what felt like a lifetime, Kaylin and Mark saw the door open, and their hearts sank. They grabbed each other's hands as the surgeon walked out of the room. But the doctor had a different expression than what they were expecting. On his face was a big smile. He beamed as if he had just given a little girl a second chance at life. It was a success, the surgeon said as he approached them. Well, you know what followed. Screams, joyful tears, laughter, and a sense of peace they hadn't experienced in the past few months. After the surgery, the doctors explained that the girl's cerebral and brainstem were in good health. However, the sensory portion of her brain was impaired, so they couldn't tell for sure if she was capable of feeling. Although she was doing fine, the doctors explained she could have cognitive delays or balance concerns in the future. As for her parents' reaction, well, it was joy. They didn't even flinch. Nothing could tear them down at this point. It was like they had gone through hell and back, and they were just happy their daughter was now safe. Little Lincoln surprised everyone. By the time she was 3 months old, she made an amazing recovery and started moving parts of her body that she couldn't before. Now, she cries, smiles, and laughs just like any other child. She has even left hospice care, and her family is taking her health one step at a time. Right now, Lincoln is a sweet girl who is excited to walk. She is the best sister to her brother Lucas, and her parents see her as the cutest little girl who beat the odds and gave them a chance to be happy parents again. Although doctors think Lincoln might have some delays in her development, she is doing really well. She has overcome challenges, and I wouldn't be surprised if she does it again. Her wonderful parents are ready for whatever comes next and are staying hopeful. I wish them all the happiness they desire. People often say we can't do certain things, but our thoughts shape our actions, and we can achieve anything we set our minds to. How do you deal with someone telling you to give up